Steve, a YouTube engineer, flew to LA to talk to us about awareness with HDR on YouTube. Problem is, when he came and we filmed, we found it difficult to articulate why it's so important. In editing, I try to put it together, and this is the best solution. I just need to tell you straight up what HDR is and why it's important on YouTube. HDR is the new standard of image quality that's coming up right now. Just like how our screens evolve from standard to HD, 4K, your phones, tablets, and TVs are evolving as well, but not in resolution. Instead, brightness and color. Finally getting as bright and as rich full of colors as a IMAX movie screen. You might be surprised to learn this, but your screen that you're watching this right now is not that bright. Here, look at this light. Look at it. It's not that hard, but if you were really here, your eyes would squint because it's so freaking bright. Now, HDR, if you're not careful, your phone and TV will actually make you experience the real brightness as if you're here looking at a light. If you have a normal screen that's not HDR, you actually only get 50% of all the colors in the real world.
Because theaters can display 85% of the colors you'd see in the real world, whereas Rec 709 is about 50% of those colors.
So I'm missing out on half the colors?
So somebody went around, measured everything, flowers, street signs, everything you see on a normal basis, and that's called Pointer's gamut. HDR technically specifies up to 99.7% of that, but for complicated science of vision reasons, that's actually not really practical to get to anytime soon.
But do you need more brightness and more colors?
Out of all the strange inventions from around the world that get sent to us, I think today we've received one of the weirdest. These Jobby punching gloves. Now, these are extendable, and apparently they're so cool, and you're gonna have such an intense fight with them that you're gonna need a wristband to strap to your wrist. Now, let's see how durable they are. You watched that whole segment without any audio, but you know what? Carmichael's such a good editor and he has so little time before this video comes out that he's gonna set it to some nice music for you. So yeah, I guess these are just prototypes, which only leads me to assume that the real ones that they'll be selling later this fall will be a lot easier to break.
I'm excited for HDR because as a creator, I can make my images more painterly, and I can know for sure that you're going to see it exactly the way I wanted you to see them. Now, the main reason why Steve, the YouTube engineer, showed up is to build awareness of HDR on YouTube.
The feature has already been rolled out on YouTube.
Yes.
How long has that been a thing?
It's rolled out since November of last year.
It's been so many months.
And if you just expose properly like you would for SDR, then most of the workflow stays the same.
Not everyone watching is a creator. I do want to break down, hopefully quickly and correctly, 6 key bullet points on how to make HDR video. 1, you need a camera with a minimum of 10 stops at dynamic range. 2, you need 10-bit color. 3, don't overexpose your video. It's going to be that bright. 4, you're going to need to record in a log or RAW mode. 5, your editing doesn't change. Your finalizing does, your color correction and your exporting. Color an HDR video on an HDR screen. When you're done coloring, you're gonna need to export it in a specific HDR codec. Finally, 6, when you upload to YouTube, the site will recognize that your video is an HDR file. And if your audience is watching it on an HDR phone or whatever, it'll go, oh, an HDR screen.
The problem is the workflow of creating it, the tooling involved is just so complicated right now.
Or at least right now.
Windows actually supports HDR if you plug your Windows Creator update into a HDR monitor or HDR television.
It's going to suck a lot when there's not enough HDR content out there for you to take advantage of on your brand new, super expensive screen.
And so we'd expect to see this on pretty much every phone over the coming months.
Like, it's not very bright, whereas here it pops. It's an actual pure white that is...
There is a difference though.
Right, in the camera?
In the camera, there's a difference.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. The $35,000 monitor that most HDR films are graded on. That said, that price tag sounds huge, but we've got one in Space LA and Space New York, and I think we're adding one to Space London and maybe Space Paris. Y'all can just go in there and you just do that last mastering step in that room. One day it takes a couple hours, and then you've got HDR mastered on the same displays that they use to master HDR movies.
I'm wearing a white shirt today because it represents the absence of design. You know how we made these limited edition Corridor hats? Well, Sam Gorski's cooked up another hot and ready Corridor Digital Special Edition t-shirt. It's gonna be available next week, so keep your eyes open for it. And also, keep your eyes open